and will start practicing for that next week. Belle Johnson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
With news from across the nation and around the globe, from the campus of Troy University, this is Troy TrojanVision Global News.
Welcome to Troy TrojanVision Global News, where we give you a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world. I'm Ty Davidson. Here's what's making the news on Monday, November 18th. Police in Utah are warning about online safety after they say a 12-year-old was abducted by a man she met online. The girl is now back home with her family and the suspect is in custody. Maya Constantino reports.
I have two daughters the same age as our neighbor, and that makes this a little bit extra scary.
A 12-year-old girl was reunited with her family Sunday morning after police say she was being abducted by a 20-year-old man in Bountiful, who she met online. I'm Maya Constantino in Salt Lake City. One man was taken into custody. Neighbors are relieved she's home safe and sound. Police say the girl stepped outside of the house before her family went out and found her in a car with a man. After the family confronted him, police say the man drove off with the girl in a Chevrolet Camaro. Bountiful police found the suspect's car driving erratically. Police began chasing the suspect, who was headed westbound on I-15 at a high speed, striking a Woods Cross police vehicle and disabling both cars. Jessica Clark, a neighbor of the girl's family, says a situation like this makes her think of her 12-year-old daughters.
There's a lot of information that we don't have yet, and so I've been trying not to jump to conclusions, but we're certainly talking about online safety with our kids and making sure that you are very careful about who you trust.
Bountiful Police has thoughts on online safety.
Constantly remind them of the online dangers, that just because you believe you're talking to someone who may be pretending to be your same age doesn't mean that they actually are. And can be some serious ramifications as a result of that.
During a search of the Camaro, police say they found a Glock 17 handgun in the floorboard of the car. Police say the girl was not hurt but was taken to the hospital. As for the Woods Cross police officer, police say the injuries weren't serious, but the officer was taken to the hospital. Clark is relieved her neighbor is home.
They're a really close-knit family, really sweet people, and I am so happy for them and so thankful that they've got a happy ending today.
2 people are in critical condition after a stabbing in rural southeast Texas on Sunday. Authorities are searching for the suspect, who they believe fled the scene and may still be in the area. Donnie Tuggle has more.
The Grimes County Sheriff's Office says the suspect, Elpidio de Leon Gonzalez, left before they arrived. Investigators believe he may be driving a white Mitsubishi Mirage with a paper tag number 93C732A. The weapon used is believed to be a machete or a similar sharp object. The Sheriff's Office says the incident happened near a group of trailers behind the grocery store. Highway 30 was briefly shut down as first responders and investigators secured the area. Gonzalez is thought to have ties to the Houston area, and the search for him is ongoing.
Well, we have DPS, we have, of course, the Shire Fire Department, and he's supposed to be living in a house across from the store, so we had Shire Fire Department was very helpful in shutting down the highway till we cleared it safely. Didn't know if he had any weapons or anything other than machete. That's what we understand was used, or some kind of instrument like that.
A group of neo-Nazis marched through the streets of Columbus, Ohio over the weekend. State and city leaders have condemned the march, saying there is no place for hate in Ohio. A sentiment echoed by people who witnessed the march. We want to warn you, some of the video is disturbing. Carla Rogner has the reaction from the march.
A Saturday afternoon interrupted by hate. Dwight Holland and his friend Dante Bell were enjoying the Ohio State game when they started hearing loud racial slurs coming from High Street.
They walked past our block and all we heard was hate, kill, go.
For real, y'all came out here like that?
They got their phones out and started filming as members of the group yelled slurs at them.
Why y'all hiding y'all's faces?
Holland yelled back, asking the neo-Nazis to take their masks off and show themselves. What made you want to do that?
Well, most of them are cowards. You know, they don't want to show their faces. Like the KKK, they wear the hoods and whatnot, but I mean, it's like I said, it's 2024.
They say this hatred has no place in their city.
You know, you don't deserve to be out here on the streets with the whole racial bigotry.
It's time to be real. We're in 2024. Come on, how many years do we got to go through this?
Meanwhile, in North Columbus, Sophia Pierre-Luce learned about the neo-Nazis march while taking part in a Haitian festival organized with intention to quell hatred and racism.
But it seems like it's not, because I just find out just now that they have the group of people walking the streets.
She immigrated to the U.S. as a teenager and has been horrified to witness the hateful rhetoric about Haitian migrants in Springfield that made headlines during the election cycle.
We are here. We've been here years ago. There was nothing before. Everyone was working the same places, eating the same restaurant, doing everything. So why going back? Why are we going to start something that was not before?
This festival meant to be a safe space to celebrate culture. Pierre-Luce joins Holland and Bell in calling for an end to hate of all kinds.
I just want us to all be peaceful.
Now is the time that we should unite as one in the community and also try to know who we are.
Still to come on TrojanVision Global News. President Biden gives Ukraine access to long-range U.S. weapons. That story is on its way.
With news from across the nation and around the world, TrojanVision Global News will return after these messages.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
I'm Ben Utek. I played high school, college, and pro football, helping my team win the 2006 championship. My career ended after I suffered my 5th concussion. More than 1 million athletes suffer a concussion each year. The American Academy of Neurology recommends athletes thought to have a concussion be immediately removed from play and assessed by a healthcare professional trained in concussion. This isn't just about sports. It's about your brain. When in doubt, sit it out. A message from the American Academy of Neurology.
Cool party. What do you guys want to drink? Can I have a head-on collision with a concussion twist?
Make mine a fatal accident with no survivors.
And you?
A designated driver, please. You know, just a bottle of water.
Awesome.
You're a lifesaver.
When it comes to your money, whatever you want to get smart about, you can find at smartaboutmoney.org. Smart About Money is a free online resource. We are a non-commercial, non-profit organization dedicated to helping people just like you get information about money. For everything from how to build an emergency fund to how to deal with job uncertainty, smartaboutmoney.org has the answers you've been looking for. Smartaboutmoney.org, the easy place to start when you want to get smart about your finances.
We now return to more TrojanVision Global News.
Could it pay off or result in payback? Experts are weighing in on President Joe Biden's reported decision to let Ukraine fire long-range U.S. weapons into some Russian territories. Amy Kiley shares their analysis.
It's definitely welcome news for the Ukrainians. Maybe a little bit too late for them.
President Joe Biden is giving Ukraine permission to use long-range U.S. weapons in Russia, according to 2 U.S. officials. Military experts say that could help Ukraine retain vital territory, but some observers worry about Russia's potential response.
Hits are not made with words. Such things don't need announcements. Missiles will speak for themselves.
One official says the Army tactical missile systems are primarily intended for use in the Kursk region for now. Allies hope Ukraine can hold on to it despite Moscow's deployment of about 50,000 troops there. That way, Ukraine can use it as a bargaining chip if peace talks occur.
It's not going to be a major game changer at the strategic level, but it could have strategic implications.
In September, the U.S. and U.K. debated letting Ukraine fire conventional Western missiles into Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin responded by saying Moscow could use nuclear weapons if that happened. He also said if a nuclear power supported an assault in his country, he'd consider that nation a joint attacker.
The worries have tended to be overblown. We're not in some sort of war with Putin here.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
President Joe Biden has wrapped up a weekend meeting with world leaders. Sunday, he spent the day touring the Amazon in Brazil ahead of a G20 summit Monday. Biden is the first sitting president to visit the Amazon. Saturday, he attended APEC, where he met with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Many world leaders wondering where the U.S. will stand on key issues like the global economy, trade, and climate change as former President Donald Trump prepares to take office once again. Jen Sullivan reports.
President Joe Biden landing in Brazil Sunday ahead of the G20 summit Monday in Rio. Biden spending the day touring the Amazon to see the effects climate change has had on the world's largest rainforest.
Some may seek to deny or delay the clean energy revolution that's underway in America.
The president pledging billions of dollars to help nations bolster resilience against climate change. This wraps up a weekend of meeting with global leaders.
Good afternoon.
Biden here meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping Saturday in Peru for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation known as APEC. It was the final time these two leaders will meet as Biden's presidency winds down.
These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict.
Through a translator, Xi saying, quote, the United States has recently concluded its elections. China's goal of a stable, healthy, and sustainable China-U.S. relationship remains unchanged. The two-day APEC meeting comes as Biden gets ready to leave office and the world prepares for a Donald Trump presidency once again. Analysts say these meetings leave many world leaders concerned over how the U.S.'s stance on key issues will change under Trump.
It's Joe Biden as a lame duck, and he's not in a position to reassure.
Monday, Biden will meet with world leaders to discuss the economy and climate change at the G20 summit. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
An email from a North Carolina lawmaker's office is raising eyebrows after allegedly telling a North Carolina woman to leave the country, after raising concerns about abortion laws. Tom George reports.
It all started with this video from North Carolina TikTok user Lindsay Talley, who says her friend has a genetic condition creating life-threatening abnormalities, and wrote to her Republican state senator concerned about the state's abortion laws and her ability to expand her family. And in response, the official email back telling her to leave the country.
Thank you so much for the email. I'm not quite certain how we are preventing you from expanding your family. I suggest you move to China immediately and see how that works out. If for some reason that fails, Russia is nice in the winter and Venezuela in the summer. Danny Britt.
The email appears to be from Senator Britt's legislative assistant, Camille McDougald. A follow-up email said, quote, I responded how Senator Britt wanted me to. No further comment. We made multiple attempts to reach the senator, who represents Robeson, Hoke, and Scotland counties. We also went to his Raleigh legislative office, and his assistant behind the email didn't want to talk. Hello, how's it going?
Sir, back out, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No comment. Back out. I don't
Well, this is a
you can record me again, just like the other
okay. Well, this is a public office,
It
right?
is, but I'm in here.
Okay.
And I don't have a comment.
But the email serving as a lesson for how to respond to those they serve. Congressman Wiley Nichols says his office also responds to thousands of emails, and he was surprised to see that kind of a response coming from a fellow lawmaker.
Anyone who has the honor and privilege of representing constituents in Washington or in Raleigh needs to be respectful of the people that they represent. We work for them.
Coming up on TrojanVision News, an update on Thanksgiving's effect on travel and the economy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
With news from across the nation and around the world, TrojanVision Global News will return after these messages.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
We now return to more TrojanVision Global News.
The latest data shows inflation ticked up slightly last month. The higher prices come just as Americans get ready to celebrate Thanksgiving. So how is inflation impacting your grocery bill? As Jen Sullivan reports in today's Consumer Watch, there's actually good and bad news.
Hosting Thanksgiving this year may gobble up your wallet. Shoppers are expecting to spend an average of about $431 this year. That's up 19% from last year, according to LendingTree.
19% is a big jump.
Matt Schultz with LendingTree says inflation is a big concern for consumers. A recent LendingTree survey found 27% of shoppers say they'll change food choices because of high prices.
Anybody who is going into this Thanksgiving season expecting that they're going to be able to get a little more bang for their buck this year than they did last year is going to be pretty disappointed.
The latest consumer price index shows inflation ticked up to 2.6% in October from last year, with housing-related inflation accounting for half.
This was about what people expected. It shows that inflation is not where it was a couple of years ago.
So, how will all of this affect your grocery bill this Thanksgiving? Finance Buzz looked at Butterball brand turkey prices across the country earlier this year and found a 15-pound turkey, which serves about 10 people, will cost an average of around $31. That's down 12% from last year. Other items that have dropped in price, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, potatoes and white bread. Here's what will cost you more: milk, butter, and cheese.
Making Thanksgiving a potluck is such a great way to control costs. If you're hosting Thanksgiving, it's already enough of a production just with all the work that you have to put in.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Nearly 80 million Americans are expected to travel over Thanksgiving, according to Triple Travel Forecast. Reporter Michael Yoshida joins us to break down the numbers, including what you should know if you're planning on driving to your Turkey Day destination.
Across the country, Americans are gearing up to get out for the Thanksgiving holiday.
For the first time, we're looking at a 7-day travel window, starting on Tuesday before Thanksgiving and ending that Monday. And we're projecting nearly 80 million people are going to be traveling domestically during that time. This is going to be a new record.
Of that 80 million, 71.7 million people will be hitting the roads and taking advantage of lower gas prices. The national average last Thanksgiving Day was $3.26. This year, AAA says, barring disruptions from tropical storms, gas prices will continue to fall.
Gas prices are much lower than they were this time last year, and we could be seeing a national average around Thanksgiving that's below $3 a gallon, which we haven't seen since 2021.
So when should you hit the road? INRIX, a provider of transportation data and insights, says Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon are the worst times to travel by car. The best times to hit the road is Thanksgiving Day, when interstates and highways are typically clear and travelers won't clash with commuters. But no matter when you choose to travel, use caution.
AAA's biggest safety message is always slow down, move over. With an additional 1 million people on the roads, you're going to have more congestion, more cars, and unfortunately more emergencies.
And if you're planning to take a flight, be prepared for busy terminals. Air travel is also expected to set a new record, up more than 2% compared to last year. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
With Thanksgiving not even here yet, some may think it's too early to put up lights and decorations for Christmas, but one Tennessee family, there's a deeper meaning behind the festive display. Aaron Cantrell has the story.
In the back of this subdivision on Ash Circle in Laverne,
carefully step back down,
you'll find Brad Henn's home.
Let me go get another strand of lights.
And his massive Christmas display, from Happy Gingerbread, Santa, and his reindeer.
That's the system. We got it going on now, if I don't get dizzy first.
And thousands of lights.
Perfect. Each year it's grown and grown and more, and now we're up to 750,000 lights. Here we go.
With help from companies providing a lift and discounted lights, Brad and his family,
all right, good job, buddy,
like his nephew Caleb, are working around the clock.
Can you go get me some more purple lights right over there?
To get everything done.
Originally, I was thinking about not doing it this year. Just somewhere along the line, I kind of lost my joy out of it all.
It was easy for Brad to get caught up in the chaos of designing the holiday display, but then remembered why he started doing it in 2012 for his daughter, London.
Her death actually happened in the neighborhood that we lived in. So that whole community rallied around us during that loss and that grief.
She was 21 months old when she died in a tragic accident.
So moving into that first Christmas, I'm like, what do I do? I usually have another kid that I, buy Christmas gifts for. So I took that money and I put it into Christmas lights.
London's radiant light lives on through this spectacular display.
London was just a joy and to be around. And she was this light. She knew no strangers. She would just run up to anybody.
Even in her passing, she continues to spark joy around the globe. A reminder to Brad of the lasting impact of London's lights.
Especially when I see kids, I was like, well, that should be London, and it's not London. But, this is the beauty and the brokenness. It's the purpose on the other side of the pain. It's the triumph after all the tragedy.
So are we going to test them tonight?
We will.
Now it's time for our last break, but when we return, you've heard of wheelchair sports, but have you heard of wheelchair modeling? This cerebral palsy sufferer is making sure that you have. We'll be right back.
With news from across the nation and around the world, Troy TrojanVision Global News will return after these messages.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Each year, hurricanes and major flooding threaten cities, towns, and rural homes across the Gulf states. So chances are there will be more storms and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Hey, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
And I won't have to tell my kids, this isn't a drill.
Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always lock it up.
We now return to more TrojanVision Global News.
A woman from South Carolina is proving no matter the physical challenges a person may have, he or she can live out their dreams. Kim Brock has cerebral palsy, but that did not stop her from modeling at a fashion show in Nashville, Tennessee over the weekend. Nikki Hauser has more.
With cerebral palsy, it might take Kim Brock a little longer to speak.
And I hope I inspire them to dream big and live boldly.
But even without her communication device, her smile says it all.
If you spend just a few minutes with me, you'll be able to understand me easier.
If you spend more time with her, you'll also know Kim is a budding fashion model, fresh off her very first show in New York Fashion Week.
They say, go big or go home, and I chose to go big.
See how she turns her chin? That's how you know Kim know.
Kim also won this year's Miss Wheelchair Southeastern USA.
There it is.
And Sunday, she'll be making history as the first woman to model in a wheelchair at the Luxe Style Fashion Week in Nashville.
That one's the one.
I felt an overwhelming mix of emotions, honored, excited, and deeply grateful. It's a powerful reminder of how far we've come in terms of inclusivity, and I'm thrilled to be part of that progress.
I'm just so proud. I'm so proud. It's exciting to get to see the journey, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Candace met Kim at New York Fashion Week. She's the one who recruited her to be in another show here in Music City.
You'll say things to me sometimes, I'll be like, girl, I know.
With her support system, including her two daughters, who definitely take after their mother's talent. Kim wants her modeling to inspire others to embrace their uniqueness.
I want everyone, especially those who feel overlooked or underestimated, to know that their dreams are valid and achievable.
So don't let the wheelchair fool you. Kim's ready to hit many more runways, touching everyone with that smile.
The latest series from Yellowstone's Taylor Sheridan is set in a world of oil drilling in Texas. Rick DeMagella talked with the cast of Landman.
Every oil company has a version of Tommy. You cannot function without one.
I wouldn't want to have your job this week.
You wouldn't want to have my job any week.
Billy Bob Thornton leads an ensemble cast in Taylor Sheridan's Landman.
That's not very safe. That's when they make 180 grand a year.
When Taylor first told me about it, I was so intrigued. I mean, about the world, about the character, everything about it. And Taylor told me himself, I'm writing this for you and your voice, you know. And so to read something like that and just see how well it fits, was pretty thrilling to me.
So I want you to start right now and don't stop till you're done. Run them all night.
Sheridan based the series on the Texas oil industry podcast, Boomtown.
Landman is really set in the dangerous world of oil in West Texas, in the Permian Basin. And so you come in from this podcast called Boomtown that Christian Wallace did that makes sure it's a real, authentic, real view into the world of oil.
He's not afraid to show the ugly side of people along with the silver linings, and he creates these wonderfully complex and contradictory and nuanced characters that are just like people out there. So it's always a joy and a blessing to be able to get into the skin of someone he's created and bring them to life.
The oil business affects everything in a town like this.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick DeMagella.
Sequels and remakes are popular with moviegoers. David Daniel has one of each in today's Hollywood Minute.
You have something in you. Rage. Never let it go. It will carry you to greatness.
A great debut for Gladiator 2. The long-awaited sequel launched in 63 international markets, taking in $87 million. That's Paramount's biggest international opening weekend ever for an R-rated movie. Gladiator 2 opens in U.S. theaters Friday. Well, we crank it.
Good morning, Mrs. Sturak. Mrs. Sturak?
Cricket.
Sweet, my first dead body.
I'm for sure going to juvie.
A summer without supervision doesn't turn out quite the way 4 siblings planned in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. The comedy is a new take on the 1991 original. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead debuts Tuesday on digital platforms. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Now that's all the time we have for Troy TrojanVision Global News. For a look at the top headlines a little closer to home, stay tuned for Troy TrojanVision News. I'm Ty Davidson, and thank you for joining us.